there was a woman that I did a session with, and interestingly, she just got in touch with me after having not spoken with her for 25 years. And she's great. And it was like we left off, we left off where we started where we left off. It was just yesterday or 2 days ago, she called me. And when she was 8, she wanted to be a hairdresser. And it's the only thing that she wanted to do. And she never wanted to have kids. And so she didn't have any kids. And when she grew up, she became a hairdresser. She married a hairdresser. They both made their $500 a day each. They taught hair, never had kids, living happily ever after. She read about Iboga. She wanted to see the pictures. She was just absolutely enamored with seeing the movie screen appear and seeing all these pictorial, archetypal vignettes and storylines. And she just wanted to have this experience. So she took her husband and I to share 2 rooms looking over the Pacific Ocean, the black sands of Costa Rica, with spider monkeys jumping on our porch, sharing. And she did, and this was early on. This is just during the first few years of me working. So I was still very attached to getting people what they wanted. If somebody didn't have like a experience, I would give them more medicine, or I would be confounded or something. And it didn't happen very often. And so, but with her, I gave her a significant amount, and I asked her, how are you doing? And she said, well, nothing's going on. I feel like it's like I took a quarter of a Valium. And I went to my room to take a break. I remember doing I was rebirthing, doing a lot of holotropic breath work back a quarter of a century ago. And I was just rebirthing myself to bits, trying to get clear on what to do. Oh my God, should I give her another session down the road? Should I give her more medicine? But she's done enough. What am I going to do? She's not satisfied. And and I just let it go. And I just didn't know what else to do. And so then they went off for 17 days in Costa Rica for their vacation. And her poor husband called me in the middle of the vacation. And he said to me, she is the biggest monster that I've ever experienced her be. It's like she is so disappointed and so frustrated. And I took it in, and then they went back to California where they lived, and she kicked into a state of unicity, if you will, where she was literally witnessing her sleep for 10 months. She said she was doing 4 times the amount of things every day. And she was just in a state of flow and almost non-self. She was so free, and she was so intrinsically happy for no reason at all that it was absolutely fascinating. And I came to the conclusion, and I shared this story with her the other day, and she supported it, that the reason why she got exactly what she needed, because for the first time in her life, she accessed a layer of frustration that she never allowed herself to access, and she burned through it, and that freed her up to experience like a deepening in her existential process.
Wow,
And so to me, that was miraculous. It was more miraculous than the person documenting, all the wonderful other life experiences they had, and the bleed throughs into other multidimensional reality, which is all real. It's all, in my opinion, I'm totally open to. If I looked out my window and I saw a half a dozen people flying through the air physically, I'd probably say to myself, it's about time. So nothing surprises me. I'm okay with it all. But that was really a precious experience and learning for me to let go of people necessarily getting what they want.
Yes, or what you hope they're going to
Yeah,
get.
yes.
What it's interesting because it feels like a detox. It feels almost like if you were doing like a juice fast, for instance, and you did it for a number of days. And then at some point, the body starts to purge just stuff that's been there and you feel absolutely god awful, but you keep
Yep.
going. And then once
Yeah.
it purges, you feel absolutely amazing. I mean, why wouldn't it be, why would it be any different mentally, emotionally, right? So,
Right. Yeah. The only slightly thing that I could add to that is when it comes to Iboga specifically, the energetic is profoundly different than, let's say, ayahuasca or psilocybin. The energetic is very, very mental. So the healing that happens under the influence of Iboga is in the power of the witness. So what I mean by that is that you're watching all these different hundreds of different archetypal vignettes and pictorial gestalts and so on appear on a movie screen, and you're identifying with the one that's watching, and that's where the healing happens. That's
mm,
where the witness happens. That's in all scriptures. They speak so lovingly and so respectfully about the witness component that we have, that there's a watcher inside, until, of course, the watcher can eventually collapse and, that fuller awakening happens.